Okay, well, welcome, everybody. So nice to see your beautiful faces. We are having a wonderful time here tonight. Very excited about our topic, very excited about our guest. This is the Integrative Wellness and Development Podcast. My name is Mike DeLuca. I am your host. And I have to say some stuff. So, I say this stuff at the beginning of every podcast. This podcast, everything that is spoken about is purely educational. It is to educate you about wellness and personal development. It is sponsored by me and sponsored by my company, Integrative Wellness and Development, LLC. It is not associated with any other company, any other group, any other following. I am strictly a researcher, educator. I'm someone who's really, really curious. I've been involved in the natural health field for almost 50 years, and I continue to be incredibly curious about the latest and greatest things to help make us happier, healthier, and live a better life. And that's what today's show is going to be as well. So with that, because it is educational, we do not make any claims to diagnose, treat, or prevent any illnesses. You will hear results about some of the things that we will be talking about. Those are results that are unique to the individuals who experience them. There is no guarantee you will experience those same results. However, it's all up to you to take this information and use it. So with that, welcome again to everyone who's joining us here on Zoom. Welcome to everyone who is joining us on Facebook. We are live on Facebook, and we have all kinds of people joining us on Facebook. So very grateful for you folks joining us on Facebook as well. So with that, I want to welcome our amazing guest. I've known this author, this professional in the health and personal development field for many, many years. So with that, I want to welcome Jane Durst-Pulkys. Welcome to our show. So excited you're here. How are you?
Thank you. Thank you, Mike. I'm doing great. How are you doing tonight?
I am doing well as well,
Good.
and very, very excited about having you on tonight. Let me read your bio for
Okay.
folks who do not know you,
Okay.
and we will get to know you a little bit better from that. So, again, our special guest is Jane Durst-Pulkys, and we're going to talk a little bit later about her website, janehealthcoach.com. But Jane is the author of a USA Today bestseller, The Metabolic Balance Kitchen. She's also author of the book on confidence, and I am confident that you are really going to be interested in the things that she has to say. But let's go a little bit to her bio here. Let me move to that. So, Jane, first of all, Jane is a PhD. She is a clinical and holistic nutritionist, author, educator, and life and health coach. She specializes in the metabolic balance weight management practices in Canada and is the USA brand ambassador for Metabolic Balance and national license holder for Hong Kong. She consults with clients from all walks of life from around the world. Also, Fortune 500 companies find Jane's work to be extremely valuable for their executives and employees. Jane is an authority on health and optimal performance and a faculty member and advisor for the Institute of Holistic Nutrition in Toronto, Canada. With over 40 years of practical experience, Jane is on the leading edge of proactive approaches to personal health. She's also the author of the best-selling book, The Metabolic Balance Kitchen, which I showed you up in the top left-hand corner there, and the book on confidence, as well as a frequent guest on TV, radio, and podcasts. So once again, welcome, Jane. So excited you're here, and I've got lots of questions for you.
I'm ready, Mike. I'm ready.
Okay, okay. And it's apropos that we have you on tonight, Jane. We just had Valentine's Day, right? And as I put in my post on Facebook, that's a time when we show our love. We give cards and flowers and candy and other goodies. And those are well-meaning, gifts, those candies, but they can affect us in a very interesting way. It is February. It's February 16th. It is right at that time where statistically everybody who made the New Year's resolution to lose weight and change their diet and get healthy are out eating cake and pizza right now. So that's a lot of them are done. They've fallen off the wagon, jumped off the wagon, got blown up off the wagon. And so people I know in myself, people desperately need something that is real,
Mhm.
something that is complete, something that works, something that is not just eat less, exercise more, drink more water, and the magic weight loss fairy will suddenly take away your pounds like the tooth fairy takes your teeth. That ain't so. And we know that ain't so. So, my first question to you, Jane, is what is the Metabolic Balance Program and why does it work?
That's a great question. So first of all, the Metabolic Balance Program is a program that is customized and individualized for each person based off of their 36 blood values to reduce inflammation in the body, to balance out hormones, and to help people to lose weight. So every single person gets their own program. So the client has to go to the lab where we get the full panel, and then we take into consideration all their health concerns, migraines, headache, rheumatoid arthritis, IBS, everything is
Mhm.
taken into consideration. The programs that are around, so it's in 45 countries around the world, and each program is made in Germany by physicians. Once a plan is created and the client gets it, it ultimately is there to change the way insulin works in your body. Because what's happening now, and this is so timely because everybody's talking about metabolic syndrome, metabolic disorders. Metabolic syndrome is a huge problem, not only in North America, but worldwide. And we are seeing more and more people today getting sick. We're seeing more people, if you look at what metabolic syndrome actually is, it's kind of a name for a cluster of different things, such as high cholesterol, diabetes, high blood pressure, blood lipid disorders. So when a person goes on the metabolic balance program and they try, well, let's just go back to your Valentine's thing because I like that. Part of the reason people go off that and go out and have pizza and all that tonight is because when they went on a program, it's not customized for that individual. So they get discouraged, they get frustrated, and they throw it away. And what's really interesting, this afternoon, I had a call from a client. She started the Metabolic Balance program 16 days ago. Her husband was helping her set up the Zoom call. She's already lost 14 pounds in 16 days. And as we were leaving the call, her husband was saying, he was off to the side. He was saying something. And I said, what did he say? He said, I never thought after you tried hundreds of programs that anything was going to work. So she was so happy that finally this program worked because we all need to make sure that the biochemistry that we have is addressed in a very significant way. So metabolic balance does that in its own unique way. And as I said, this program is in 45 countries around the world, all the different languages, and each country has their own food groups. So you get your own plan, you get your coach, and there's 4 phases to this program. When we start the program, the client does a cleanse for just 2 days. So they have the option of eating fruit or vegetables or potatoes or rice, and then they have to follow 8 kind of rules, which which they will follow, and they'll find that it makes a significant difference, such as 3 meals a day. So when I went to university in 1980, they used to say make sure you have 6 meals a day. We now know scientifically that if you eat more than 3 times a day, insulin, which is the fat storage hormone, is going to be elevated. And when that becomes elevated, we can get into fat storage as opposed to fat burning. So we have 3 meals a day. You have to wait 5 hours between meals. And I encourage all your listeners to try these because I have clients who didn't actually get their program over Christmas, but they followed the rules and they all lost weight. So we want to have 5 to 7 hours between meals so that insulin can drop down to lower levels so we can get into the fat burning. We also want each person to start the meal with 2 bites of protein. This is a fantastic rule because when you do that, so let's say you're having chicken with broccoli and quinoa for dinner tonight. If you have 2 bites of the chicken first, you will notice instantly that you feel there's a satiety that goes with it. So you'll eat less food and it signals a chemical in your brain that you're going to be okay. So we start the meal with 2 bites of protein. Another rule that we follow is we only have one protein at a time. So if you're going to have the chicken with the broccoli and the quinoa, we don't want you putting almonds on your salad or cheese on top of anything. Because the problem is the biological value of food, for instance, an egg, milk, no, sorry, egg is 100%, but the biological value of milk is 91%. When you make scrambled eggs and you mix the eggs with the milk, the body will take the food with the lowest amount of amino acids, which is the milk, and you'll be left over with 9% acid waste. And it's difficult for people to lose weight when their body's in more of an acidic state. We also want the clients to drink the water that's calculated for them based off of their biochemistry and their personal food list and their personal health list. We want them to have 1 apple a day because apples lower the uric acid and they lower the cholesterol. And there's no other fruit that has many phytonutrients as an apple does. And we use the non-sweet tart. So like a Macintosh, a Granny Smith, and apples are absolutely delicious. We don't want any food after 9 o'clock, and we don't want you to have the same protein twice in one day. So when a client starts in the program, they do the cleanse for 2 days. I give them a product to empty the bowel. And then on day 3, they start to implement the rules and they will get their own customized list. So their program might say 2 eggs, 125 grams of vegetables, and they'll get a list for that. And then they're allowed to have fruit. We use on the plan from a carbohydrate perspective 100% rye bread because it has a high biological value, low glycemic index. In English, you'll feel full for a long time. And this is exactly what we're trying to do. So this is not a program that is high fat, low carbs, any of these things. It just is a program that gives people exactly the protein, the fat, and the carbohydrates that their body needs to reduce the inflammation, to balance out the hormones, and to help them to lose weight. So average weight loss in the first 16 days is remarkable. People lose between 5 and 20 pounds in the first 16 days, which I've seen over and over. Not to mention, they feel less pain. They start to sleep better. They have better mental clarity. Their skin starts to clear up. If they're on blood pressure medications, they often go back to the doctor and say, we need to tweak this a little bit. So they have a substantial change. Now, what's interesting is they don't exercise for those first 16 days. So that's a hard one for a lot of people because they want to do that. And I have a lot of clients that fight me on that. But it's like your body needs to be at rest right now for this detoxification process to occur. Once we pass the 16 days, you add as much exercise as you want. We add oils into your program. We add a treat meal once a week. So if you're on the plan and you need to lose 60, 70, 100 pounds, once a week, you get to eat and drink whatever you want. And this is what makes people stay on the program for the long term because they don't feel deprived. Every single food item that is given to that client is delicious and easy to find food. You can go to any grocery store in your neighborhood and be able to find it because nothing frustrates me more than looking at a recipe and going, I don't even know what that is, so I'm not even going to look at that recipe. So it's easy for them. And then they generally lose 2 pounds a week after that. So we take a before and after picture. And what's really incredible is very quickly, why people lose a lot of weight in the beginning is the water flushes out a lot of the toxins. So the puffiness goes in people's faces. They look honestly 10 years younger. I want to share a real quick story with you. I have a gentleman who was in his 60s who came. He didn't want to lose weight. He just said, I just feel terrible. I have aches and pains. I can't sleep, blah, blah. So off he goes. He does the program. He came back, and I'm like, oh my God, you look like a different man. He goes, well, wait till I tell you this story. He goes, I work for a huge corporation. Every year they give me a brand new car that I can lease. I went to my leasing guy yesterday, and the guy said to me, and sir, and who are you? He didn't recognize him. It was like, it was incredible. He still follows the plan. I got him addicted to hot yoga. He loves it, and he's been able to keep the weight off, which is very unique for a lot of these programs, because a lot of people, my mother included, was on a diet for her whole life. Problem is that they're not always sustainable. But when you start to eat this way and you go off the program, you will feel it. So if you are eating foods that were causing inflammation of your back or your joints, the minute you eat those again, you will find that you will stop eating it, because you now notice a significant difference between the moment you ate it to the next day. And therefore, some of those food cravings and the foods that you had before, you no longer crave them. So most people come back to me and say, I don't really crave sugar, I don't really crave salt, and I'm happy with this type of food, and I've never felt better. And yeah, that's sort of metabolic balance in a nutshell. I'm sure you have many more questions for me.
Well, I'm interested personally. What attracted you to this program? Why did you get involved with it? And what was your personal discoveries from it?
As a nutritionist, I started my own business, and I was doing different things like live blood cell microscopy. I was doing emotional, energy medicine. And I was working with clients with the same issues with metabolic syndrome, but I was making their plans myself. This took me hours and hours and hours. And a mutual friend came to me and said, this doctor from Germany, he's in Toronto tonight. And I think it's really important that you go see him. So I trucked up north of Toronto in the middle of the winter storm, and I walked into the room, and he started to speak about how insulin and how metabolic syndrome is affecting so many lives. Honest to God, Mike, my mouth fell open, because I thought, this is it. This is the key. You know, we have so many programs out there, but none of them are truly, truly addressing the inflammation, the weight gain, the hormones. And I knew in that moment that this was something. So he came back a month later. I took a course. I ran out of that course. I sold like 10 plans in the first week. I was watching the transition of people and just be magical. And I went on the plan myself. Now, I used to have terrible, terrible, terrible psoriasis for over 40 years. And when I started the program, my psoriasis completely cleared up to this day. And I've been doing now metabolic balance for over 15 years, and it's never come back. And it's an autoimmune disease, which means it can come and go. But with the metabolic balance program, it's allowed me to stay psoriasis free. So that was my personal, experience with it. And honestly, the greatest gift in life for me is to go to bed knowing I made a difference in someone's life using this program that's changing people's lives every day that we speak.
You mentioned, and I have a personal interest in this. You mentioned about foods that are highly suspect for inflammation. Could
Mm-hmm.
you talk about that? Because we're finding out more and more with guests like you that inflammation is a major cause of a lot of the health problems that we're having, including, heart problems,
Yeah.
arthritis and other areas. I think not everyone is aware that the foods that we eat can trigger an immense amount of inflammation. Inflammation is not just when you worked out too hard and your muscles get inflamed. What we eat contributes to inflammation. Can you kind of give us like the FBI's 10 most wanted list of foods that create inflammation that we should be, you know, being aware of and try to get away from.
Well, let's first look at this. You know, there truly are five new food groups available today: fast, frozen, fried, junk, and processed. And you know,
My people, those are my people.
and you know, when I was growing up, we had those foods too. Um, and we're also eating crap, carbonated, refined, addictive, and processed food. So we're not actually eating a lot of whole foods. We're running out the door, et cetera, et cetera. So when a person has a lot of inflammation, pretty much a lot of the meat comes off the program, the cow meat. The cow dairy can be quite inflammatory. I would say that all the nuts and seeds, like the seed oils, are highly inflammatory. Anything processed. You know, I was talking to a client yesterday and she was joking about how she uses Doritos corn chips as a fire starter for a campfire. Now, I actually bought them and lit it and it caught on fire. It's your food is not supposed to catch on fire. So when we eat these types of foods, they do create quite a lot of inflammation. So sugar's inflammatory. Processed foods are all inflammatory. Anything like, you know, French fries. So if you're going to stay away from things, I'd say not too much meat. Definitely stay away from fried foods. Um, all the sugary foods are all going to cause inflammation. A lot of people with arthritis, believe it or not, tomatoes, potatoes, eggplants, and peppers can be quite inflammatory.
The
Um,
nightshades.
the nightshades. And I guess if we really want to look at it and make it simple, if it's beige, it's probably inflammatory. So that's like bagels, muffins, cookies, croissants, French fries, waffles. You know, I know. But don't forget, it's the 80-20 rule. It's what you do 80% of the time that matters the most. Let's face it, I want to eat pizza too and enjoy that stuff. But really, we want to reduce those inflammatory foods. And it's amazing because immediately when you take the food out of the person's plan, it changes. Now, one of the things that I really love about metabolic balance, in the blood test that a client goes and gets done at the lab, is we actually do a test called CRP. This stands for C-reactive protein. It is the level of inflammation in the body. It's also a marker for heart disease and cardiovascular problems. So when the marker is high, then they will receive a very low inflammatory diet, which will still taste really good. But if you're wondering if this is something that, you know, you may be affected by, there's a real simple way to look at things. There are basically four types of fat in your body. You've got brown fat, white fat, subcutaneous fat, visceral fat. Subcutaneous is the one at the side of our waist. We can pinch it, but it doesn't hurt us. The white fat is if you get on that Peloton and you're biking away, once you use the energy from your muscles and your liver, you are going to tap into your white fat. Brown fat here in Toronto, people jump in the lake in the middle of the wintertime to turn on their brown fat to boost metabolism, but it's very harsh. But the most dangerous fat of all is the fat that lies behind the belly button. That is called visceral fat, and that's the marker for inflammation. Problem with visceral fat, it secretes into the bloodstream something called cytokines. And these cytokines create so much inflammation and it wraps around the organs like the heart, the liver, the kidney, the pancreas, and it creates a lot of problem. And sometimes you'll see people with quite the distended abdomen, and this is a sign that we do have something called metabolic syndrome. So metabolic balance is directly responsible in trying to reduce this visceral fat by changing the way insulin works in the body. So what people will find, they get a plan that makes them feel so full, but they'll be eating things like mangoes and papayas and rye bread. And when we combine this, the glycemic load of the food is quite low. So if you woke up in the morning and have a banana, you're just going to make your glycemic index go up. Your body's going to want to go into fat storage. But here we take the foods, combine them together. Metabolic Balance Germany does that and gives perfect people the perfect ratio of these proteins, these fats, and these carbohydrates so that they can achieve their weight loss plus the lowering the inflammation balancing the hormones and losing weight. And, you know, a lot of my clients are perimenopause or totally menopausal. Once they start on the program, they feel like a totally different person because now they're actually nurturing the body the way that nature intended them, and they get the foods, and they just they can't thank me enough, honestly.
What other health challenges can be augmented, made worse by eating some of the foods you're talking about? We've already talked about inflammation and how it can affect, you know, our blood sugar, and it can affect our heart. But what other effects can eating these wrong kind of foods for ourselves have on our health that we really should start taking care about?
I would say, first of all, mental health,
Mhm.
because, you know, it's for me, it's very important to have mental clarity. And when you nourish the body the way nature intended it, you have not only mental clarity, but excellent memory as well. So I think that. Secondly, mood swings and anger. These are all related to, you know, when you eat an inflammatory program, you begin to destroy the microbiome in your body, and it creates problems. So we have now we're seeing more and more people exhibiting signs of not they're not mentally happy. They're struggling with this because they're eating a lot of junk food. And all you have to do is walk down the street and see what people are eating and drinking. um, Rheumatoid arthritis is a big one here for this. Um, I've noticed, even I've had several clients with fatty liver disease. So non-alcoholic fatty liver disease is one of the things. And I have an amazing story about this. I had a client who presented full on fatty liver disease, non-alcoholic, diabetes, and high cholesterol. His doctor, who is a gastroenterologist, said to him, "You're an alcoholic." He goes, "I don't even drink." So he brought me, we did his blood work, and I clearly could see that he had this. And we put him on the program. And once he started to follow it, his gastroenterologist actually called me and said, "What the heck did you do? This is phenomenal." He now sends me clients with this. And completely, I have found personally that it's reversed it. And this is a big problem for people today, not to mention type 2 diabetes is a huge inflammatory problem. And we're seeing more and more of this. And we do have a global diabetes problem in our world today.
Okay, I just want to take a minute, Jane. We've been talking about your new book, The Metabolic Balance Kitchen, and it is a USA Today bestseller. So we are very interested in having folks out there who are watching get their hot little hands on this book. You can get it a number of ways. If you order it through janehealthcoach.com, not only will you get the book shipped to you, but the shipping will be free. That's a big deal. So I want to just make sure that people know about that. In addition to the folks who are, viewers who are, who watch my show frequently, you know that every show I try to encourage folks to donate to the charity of their choice. So for the first 5 viewers who show a receipt of a donation of a minimum of $10 to a charity of their choice, and send me that. You can send me that on my Facebook Instant Messenger. You can email it to me. But if you do that, the first 5 people who make a donation tonight, I already just got a message one of our viewers did, they are going to receive a free copy of the Metabolic Balance Kitchen and these 4 free bonus gifts. And that is the 8 Rules of Metabolic Balance cheat sheet, all you need to know about metabolic balance, Jane's favorite recipes from the Metabolic Balance Kitchen book, and a PDF copy of the book on confidence, right? And also those who purchase the book from janehealthcoach.com will receive these bonuses as well as free shipping. So please write this address down, janehealthcoach.com, right? And you want to get the book through that, you are welcome to do that. I'm going to put it in the chat as well right now. And again, if you are one of my frequent viewers, we don't charge for this show. The show is free to everyone to view. We don't charge our guests to come on. This show is totally a gift of love from me to you and to all of our viewers. I want you to be happier and healthier. I also want you to help me help others. So it's kind of a nice karmic thing. If you're getting something out of the show and you want to get the book, you're going to save money on the book if you just make a donation of $10 to a charity of your choice. A lot of my viewers are trying to help out the victims of the fires out in California, the victims of the hurricanes and floods in Florida and North Carolina, victims of the fires in Canada. People forgot about that. There were tons of millions and billions of dollars of damage and thousands and thousands of people affected by these fires. Let's not forget them. Also, we are big lovers of animals on this show. If you make a donation to your local shelter or one of the organizations that support health for animals, I will honor that as well. So please, great opportunity for you to get the book shipped to you, and the 4 bonuses if you make a donation to the charity of your choice. Beyond that, if you order directly from Jane's website, you will get free shipping. So I put that in the chat. Everybody saw it, janehealthcoach.com. Write that down. And let's get back into our discussion. Wow. This is going so fast because it's so interesting.
Yeah.
And we are going to be opening it up to you folks for questions in a second. But, I'm interested. You mentioned 8 rules of metabolic balance. Now, you made me curious. So what are those 8 rules besides
So
don't eat
we have
Fritos, don't eat Fritos?
Doritos.
No, Doritos. Okay, don't eat Doritos.
So 3 meals a day,
3 meals a day,
5 to 7 hour window between food.
7 hours.
Start each meal with 2 bites of protein.
Okay.
1 apple a day. Drink the water that they've recommended for you. Don't mix proteins. Don't eat the same protein twice in one day. And the last one has disappeared out of my head. It'll come back to me in a second. Oh, I remember. No food after 9 p.m. So it's actually simple. So a person could eat breakfast at 8, lunch at 1, and dinner at 6. And the only thing between meals is water. So not even grabbing a cup of tea or coffee on your way home at 4 o'clock in the afternoon, because that also has a glycemic index, which will alter the plan.
Okay. Every one of those rules makes sense. Question for you. Does it have to be an apple or can it be organic, unsweetened applesauce?
It has to be the full apple with the skin on.
Okay. With the skin on. Okay.
Yeah.
You need to have skin in the game.
You definitely do. All those nutrients are right underneath that skin. So.
All right. Okay. All right. So we went over we're doing the numbers here. So we went over the 8 rules of metabolic balance. In the book, the introduction says there are 4 phases of metabolic balance. Okay. What are they? Are they easy? Are they tough? Am I going to give up in the first week? What are these 4 phases? Okay.
Yeah. So phase 1 is the 2-day cleanse, where you will receive a package of powder that will make you go to the washroom. You will have the fruit, the vegetables, the potatoes, the rice in prescribed amounts. Then the next phase is called phase 2, strict conversion. This means minimal exercise, no added oils to your program, cooking with only vegetable broth and water and sticking to your plan 100%.
Mm.
Phase 3 is called extended. This is when we add. Now, the person will stay in phase 2 for 16 days. And then in phase 2, there's another part of that, which is called extended. They will then be given 3 tablespoons of oil a day of their choice, but not any seed oils, things like olive oil, coconut oil, avocado oil, that sort of thing. 2 tablespoons of ground flaxseed, 1 hour of exercise a day, and 1 treat meal a week. And they will stay in extended phase 2 until their goal weight is achieved. When that is achieved, we will move them into phase 3. There will be a new food list added. There will also be different foods added, such as potatoes, rice, and pasta. They will stay in their phase 3 for about, I like to keep clients in that for about 2 weeks, and then we move into phase 4. Now, by the time you reach phase 4, you definitely have a different appetite for different foods. You honestly will be looking for avocados, mangoes, etc., because you know how good this makes you feel. I encourage clients in phase 4 to still eat a metabolic friendly breakfast, a metabolic friendly lunch, and you can go off your plan a little bit at dinner time and enjoy a bowl of spaghetti with your family. We still want you to exercise every day if it's possible, and we still want you to follow the rules. And of course, we want you to drink all that water. They will weigh themselves once a week, and if they find the weight goes back up, they just jump back on the plan. Some people go on a cruise, some people go somewhere and they come back and we do a reset. So we might start off with the 2 cleanse. But it's not hard. It looks, when you look at the whole book, it feels overwhelming, but it's actually so simple to follow, and it's less expensive to eat this way because there's no waste. You're not running to Starbucks and spending $8 on whatever those things are, 2-bit egg white, whatever, and a coffee. You're saving a lot of money, and you're not using Uber Eats, and you're really eating the best food, so you will definitely save money. And you're measuring your food. So we do have to measure the food because we have to make sure that they get the right amount. So I provide the clients with the food scale. And I've got clients after 5-10 years that are still at their goal weight because they just still follow it.
Um, how does this compare with I mean, there are so many diets right now. If you go on Facebook, there's like 4,963 diets
Mm-hmm.
that you can subscribe to. There's the carnivore, there's the vegetarian diet, there is the Mediterranean diet, there is the Bronx, New York diet. There's every kind of diet that's out there. How does this compare to all of that stuff that's out there? What makes it unique?
What makes it unique is it's customized for you based off of those 36 blood diets. Because I could follow any one of those diets and I could lose weight, but maybe what I'm eating is actually going to cause me more inflammation depending on what my personal health history is. Now, my mother was one of those people who spent her entire life on every single one of those diets. And I used to think to myself when I found Metabolic Balance, if only she found this program, she would never have had to go on every single crazy diet. And trust me, it was cantaloupe and cottage cheese and, the whole thing. And it was distracting for a person and frustrating because most of my clients walk in the door. It's like, you know what? I've done everything. Like I'm really, really hoping that this is going to work for me. And I always say to them, you know what? This is a game changer because it's a scientific program that's based off of your blood values that's going to make all the difference in the world because it's customized for your body. So I've done over 1,400 of these plans. Nobody has the same program. Nobody, which I love because then because before when I was writing out those plans, all I got was money in my pocket. What do I get now? I get very happy and very healthy clients whose doctors are like just amazed at the change in their blood work.
So tell me more now about the book. Tell me about the book. These are your favorite recipes. These are recipes that clients have had the most success with. What is it about these recipes that make them valuable?
Well, I want to tell you a little bit about the book too. When I
Do.
became a metabolic balance coach, there wasn't enough information out there. And I really, really believed in my heart of hearts that the information that was provided by Metabolic Balance was life changing for so many people. So I looked at the book that was currently available by the doctor and I thought, we need to bring something into the public that's more user friendly. And
Got it.
honestly, Mike, something bubbled up from the core of my being to say to me, you need to do this. And I'm like, what? This is a huge job. It took me over 4 years to do it. But in the book, what I've done is I've explained what metabolic balance is, why the rules are important, the different phases, why I got involved in this. But then we created individual recipes so that if somebody didn't necessarily want to go on a full program, they could utilize these recipes, implement them into their lives today, and notice a significant difference. Now, during this, because I was the national license holder for Hong Kong, and we have it in 45 countries, I was able to, at the same time, collect recipes from the metabolic balance license holders around the world. So we experimented with hundreds of recipes. And then what we did was we tried to bring forth a mixture of everything so that people, you know, in China can enjoy this, people in North America can enjoy this, people who, come from different countries, they can find something in the book that would really be pleasant to their palate. So I tried to make it, brought it down into like different breakfast options, different lunches, vegetarian. We have plans with meat, cheese, chicken, fish, nuts, seeds, legumes, mushrooms, soy products. We have everything in there so that everybody can find something that would work for them. So what I found was making it an individual recipe. They didn't have to make it for six people. They could just make it for themselves. And I've already had so many people call me and say, I feel amazing. This is the best thing I've ever done because as soon as I started to eat this way, my back pain started to go away. My mental clarity came back. I'm starting to sleep better. My edema in my legs has disappeared. My psoriasis has disappeared. And the list goes on and on. Not only that, but they all look 10 years younger. And I always joke with people, I should have charged you more money for this program because they really, honestly, I have in my office here, I've got walls of people's, pictures. And honest to goodness, they all look at least 10 years younger once you remove that inflammation. And energetically wise, and I always do like a marker when I first meet them. If energy is 10 out of 10, where are you at? And then at the end of the program. And I say to them, wow, when you walked in the door, you felt like a 3, and now you're a 10. So they know what they need to do to keep going with this program. And they have their own personal templates to do that. So the book was honestly bubbled up. It was something that was so vitally important from my deepest part of myself to bring this information out into the world. And now looking at how timely is this? Because metabolic syndrome and metabolic disorders are being talked about all over the world right now because we have a world health crisis and more people are getting sick, and we need to use whole foods to bring the body back into balance again. And that's what I love about Metabolic Balance. It's a whole food program that does not require you to take supplements. We don't take collagen supplements. The only thing the doctor recommends in the beginning is sometimes making them a little bit more alkaline. So we give them an alkalizing kind of just sodium, calcium, magnesium, potassium, and vitamin D we recommend that you take with that. But no green drinks, no shakes. This is not anything like that. This is just whole food that you chew and you feel satisfied, and you feel and your whole digestive system gets changed too. I always use this analogy because I was puzzled initially by the metabolic balance plan. It's like, man, that thing works so well. And then I thought, Well, I actually had a Swiss watch and it fell to the floor one day. And this was a very expensive watch and it broke open. And I looked inside this watch and I thought, this watch has the most incredible precision. And it's like our body. If you get gunk in this watch, it's not going to work. You get dirt. Same thing with the body. If we pollute our body with fast frozen fried junk and processed or all those foods or too much stress or whatever, that your body, which is sort of like this perfect watch, is not going to have the pathways open, like the liver pathway, the bowel pathway, the circulatory pathway, the lymphatic pathway. When we start to do this, the gunk removes. And this is why people can very readily lose between 5 and 20 pounds in those first 2 weeks. And I've seen actually more than one person lose over 20, like 25 pounds in the first 2 weeks. Now, you would think that they're going to look gaunt. They don't. They look fantastic because the inflammation just disappears. Especially when people have a lot of edema in their legs. I do the before and after pictures. It really, truly is remarkable, and it speaks for itself because I'm just providing this program for these people. I'm being their coach, but the magic is in the meal plan that they receive from Metabolic Balance Germany.
Well, again, I'm forced to by law to say these amazing claims that your clients have experienced, and I don't doubt them at all because I've heard and seen miraculous things happen. But again, we are bound by law to say these are individual results, and your results may be different. And it's all about, sticking to the program and getting a good qualified person to work with. And with that, Jane, if people contact you at your website, can people work with you as a coach to
Absolutely. Yeah,
program
absolutely.
and implement it?
Yeah,
Because information is good, but application of information creates results, and
absolutely. Yeah.
application of information with a good guide will almost guarantee better results. So again, you can connect with Jane at janehealthcoach.com and get the book, Metabolic Balance Kitchen. At this point, you guys have been really, really patient over there. We've got a bunch of people in Zoom, we got a bunch of people in Facebook. I'm going to open it up to questions. If you have a question for Jane, this is a great time to ask the question. What I would ask is, if you're on Zoom, if you want to raise your little golden hand, if you know how to do that. If you don't know how to do that, you can simply just unmute yourself if someone else is not talking and ask the question. Okay, Thelma raised the golden hand. Thelma, you are first in line, so go ahead, unmute yourself and ask Jane your question.
Okay, I have two, but they won't be long.
That's
I was
okay.
just wondering how long it takes to get the plan, or at least the lab requisition.
The blood work, the blood work takes a couple days to get that back. And then once I receive the blood work, once I receive the personal profile back, the plans are generated in 24 to 48 hours. So a person can start pretty quickly.
Awesome. And I have two Lazy Susans, plus part of my countertop full of supplements.
Mm-hmm.
Well, can I just get rid of them?
I don't want people to, that's an individual choice for you.
Okay.
As a coach, I would make my recommendations, but I would look at what you're taking and I would make some suggestions based on what you're taking.
Okay, that's awesome. Does that include protein powder and green powder?
Protein powder is a no-go on this program.
Okay, not ever.
It's a processed food.
It is, isn't it?
Yeah.
I've been telling myself that.
Good, but it's a processed food. And I used to drink them too, but problem is with the protein powders, you're not able to get 2 bites of protein first. You've got all this food coming into your system, and if you're adding tons of fruit to it, insulin levels just go crazy.
Mm-hmm. What about the green powder?
Okay.
No?
No, just eat the salad.
Okay, whole food.
Whole Foods.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm excited because I've just received some lab work,
Okay.
blood work, and it found all kinds of things. I joined something called Lifestyle RX.
Okay.
It's just in BC, I think. And they did an extensive like a lab requisition,
Mhm.
extensive tests. And I have so many things that need to be corrected. And I've been 5 weeks eating whole foods, plus those other things that I mentioned. And I might have lost 3 pounds.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I
See,
have to
that's where the
lose,
frustrating part is. You really
yeah,
need, yeah, you really need a program that's customized for you to help
yeah.
you. Yeah.
And I have fat in the liver, which doesn't help you lose weight,
No,
right?
no.
It's a tough one.
Yeah. But the fat in the
So,
liver often is because sugar levels are too high in your body for too long. And that
is
doesn't
that
mean you're
right?
eating a chocolate bar. It's just the way that you're eating is making your sugars go up too high.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome, Thelma.
Looking forward to this.
Okay.
Great question, Thelma. Thank you.
Yeah,
Who's
thank
next?
you.
Who's next? Who else has a question? Whether it's in Zoom or on Facebook. If you're on Facebook, you can go ahead and make a comment, ask a question. 12 people on Zoom today. We have 13 people on Zoom right now. I'm sure someone else has a question. What are your thoughts about
I
MCT
can
oil?
I
Oh,
can
and then
I can tell a story. Hi guys.
Hey, Deborah.
Hi Jane. Jane helped me with my coach. She was my coach, and I had some inflammation markers, but um, fibromyalgia was something that I had, and it's a very burning pain that was across my shoulders, up my neck, around my head and face, and it would just come up. I wouldn't know what was causing it.
Mhm.
And it would burn like holy heck. And very, very frustrating that it would just sometimes pop up and stay for a day or two and or a week. But one time, so when I got onto metabolic balance and I ate just what Jane had suggested from the program that I got from my blood, it was 2 weeks later and I decided, oh, I'm going to add some ground flaxseed. That'll be good roughage. Well, that day, 2 hours later, everything was burning around my shoulders, my neck, and
Oh
my
my
and it
God.
was only the flaxseed that wasn't on my plan. And so if you stay on your plan, you'll see how much better you feel. It was amazing that it just kept me out of pain, you know?
Mhm. Mhm.
And I do look different.
Yeah, you do. You also look younger too, Deb.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm very, very, we struggle with pain, and if you find out what's causing the pain and you can do something about it, everything that goes in your mouth affects
Yeah,
inflammation.
everything. Yeah.
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 And Jane, your story about your lady that was a financial planner, that's an awesome story.
Yeah. So one of my clients is a financial planner and she has been struggling with her weight, not a lot of weight, but she just had a lot of pain in her body too. And she was perimenopause. Honestly, the change in her has been so significant. She cannot stop talking about metabolic balance. And she follows this. She's done 2 plans because she travels quite a bit around the world and her blood chemistry changes. So she just finished her plan. She's at her goal weight yesterday. She says she feels absolutely fantastic. She's in her late 50s. And honest to God, you would think that she's only like 45. Um, and it's wonderful to work with people like that because every people want the answers, but we actually have to be committed to do the program, which is actually pretty easy.
It
When
is.
you turn on, it's like getting to the gym. You just make the decision you're going to start, and you see the difference within the first 2 days on the plan. And this is what I love about it, because people in those first 2 days, they cannot believe the change that they've noticed.
Well, what Jane was sharing with me, you guys, Jane's new book is out, and the woman that she's talking about sold 50 books to her friends. I mean, that's how much she's committed to it.
Yeah.
She, 50 of her friends have bought the book, and they're going to be on the program. That's exciting that she loves it so much. I have a lot of people and friends on it from my world too, and they feel a lot better. So
Yeah, and she's actually hosting a book signing for me this week, because she just believes in this 100%. Her husband goes on it, her daughter follows it. Her brother was extremely helpful to me in Hong Kong when I was working there, and still is extremely helpful. So it's, you make somebody happy and they'll just continue to help you out. So it was my pleasure for her. Yeah.
Thank you, Deborah.
Yeah,
Appreciate you sharing that.
sure, yeah.
Jane, we have a question, and then Thelma, we'll get to your question. Nicole is asking, can you talk a bit about the coaching process and what is involved over the course of the sessions?
So the first meeting, I spend approximately an hour with the client, trying to, looking at what are they eating, what are they drinking, what are their bowel habits, what are their sleeping patterns, what type of stress do they have, where does that stress go, what are you snacking on, what is your lifestyle, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm able to really be a detective to figure out what it is they specifically need. So that appointment takes about an hour. Then I explain to them how they would get their blood work, and then how the plan would start. Once the blood work is generated and the plan is generated, they will receive the plan. And then I take about an hour with them on Zoom to go over step-by-step process in helping them understand how they're going to follow their plan. In those first 16 days, which is the most important time, they have unlimited text and email support from me. So I do my best to get back to people because they do have timely questions. On day 16, when they come back in for their, going into the phase 2, I ask them, how do they I ask a number of questions, how the plan is going, what did you love about it? What did you hate about it? Where can we help you? We go through, any questions that they have. That appointment takes about 45 minutes to an hour. And then what's interesting too is they really open up and they share. So it becomes a really friendly environment for allowing them to let me in on, maybe they have a sugar craving, or maybe they have an addiction to something. So I try to work through that with them. And then I meet them every 3 weeks until they get to their goal weight.
Great, thank you. Thelma, you had another question.
Well, I don't know if this is wasting everybody's time, but Deborah was mentioning about those burning sensations.
Mm-hmm.
For about 15 years, I've had a problem with my walking. I'll be walking along and all of a sudden I have to stop and hang on to something because I feel like I'm going to faint or pass out, or just, I have this sensation that comes from the chest area, goes to the top of my head. And a lot of times my shoulders will hurt so bad. The upper back will hurt really bad. My thighs will hurt. My hips will ache. And no doctor, from cardiologist to a GP to an internist, says anything. They just kind of roll their eyes.
Mm-hmm.
And I thought, maybe this is all panic attack. But I don't think it is, because I'm not panicked about anything.
Yeah. Well, this is where that intake and asking you all kinds of questions would be helpful to find out, what it is, and see if we could find some solution.
Yeah, it'd be great. Because when it happens, I think, oh, right here, right now, in the middle of the street, this is goodbye.
No, that's tough,
Yes.
Thelma.
Hmm?
That's tough.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah, feels like I'm gonzo.
I
So,
hope that you can get some information from Jane that can help you so you don't go gonzo. But
yeah,
definitely contact her.
yes.
JaneHealthCoach.com. I have a person on Facebook who just started the program. She said, I just started and have more energy. I'm not craving sugar and I've cut out caffeine because she was using caffeine for energy. So now she has stopped drinking caffeine because she doesn't need it. Jane, could you unmute for a second and give us
Muted by itself. Yes. So what is your question?
yeah, my question was about energy. She's not craving sugar anymore,
Yeah.
and she's given up caffeine because she is experiencing more energy from the plan than she had expected.
Well, this is not uncommon. A lot of people do give up caffeine, although they are allowed to have 2 cups of coffee and 3 cups of black, green, white, or rooibos tea a day. So I don't want people to panic and thinking they can't drink it. Now, what is interesting though is they do have to drink it black, because if you put milk in your coffee and you're having chicken, you got 2 proteins. That's a problem. So, but a lot of them naturally reduce their caffeine consumption, which is great.
Now, Jane, because all of this can be done over Zoom, right?
Absolutely. Yep.
And obviously the emails and the blood tests are communicated via email.
Yep.
So can anyone from anywhere contact you and figure out how to either work with you or somebody
Yep.
maybe they're in an area where you don't work? Is there any area you don't work in?
No.
Oh, great. Well, then the answer to the question, someone on Zoom, how can you go about finding a coach? She's right in front of you. Contact her at the email address, actually the website address, janehealthcoach.com, and she will get you started right away. Who else? Either Zoom or Facebook. Who else? Uh, ah, what if you need to gain weight? Can metabolic balance help you gain weight if you're having a struggle doing that? That's a good question and a rare one.
It's
What do you
a
think?
it's a great question, and I've got lots and lots of people looking to gain weight. I'm not gonna lie, it's a little bit more challenging. One of the things we do is we increase the portion sizes a lot, and we also increase their oil consumption up to 9 tablespoons of oil a day. And we don't have them exercise too much too, because yeah, it is a process, but it is perfectly doable. And they get to eat more food, which is great.
Yay, 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 yay.
Also, even clients who've had bypass surgery can do this as well in a very unique way, because they've lost the weight, but they want to take it to another level. We can also work with that type of person. That is a little bit more challenging, but that's also quite doable as well. The person that can't do this program is a pregnant or a nursing mother. So we have to be careful about that.
Great information. A great question too.
Yeah.
And if Jane can't help you gain weight, I'll send you my black belt in buffet diet. They call me my secret name is Omi One Cannoli, and I am known as the Deli Lama, and I can give you all kinds of tips
That's funny. That's funny.
how to gain weight, things that you never knew, things you don't want to know. But I highly recommend you contact Jane instead. You will be a lot healthier and happier. Who else? What else?
What if someone has a heart pacer?
They can still do it. Yeah.
Yep, okay.
And even if they're on all their medications, all of this can be done. Now, there are situations where we might require extra testing because the metabolic balance is also overseen by a medical doctor. So there's been incidences where I've had to do further testing just for safety. We want to make sure everybody does this safely and, with because we definitely have a doctor that works with us.
Yes, and you made a point. You made a point earlier that I do want to re-stress. Once someone begins to get balanced and lose weight, and they are on certain medications, maybe blood pressure or cholesterol or whatever, it's important that you do work with your doctor, do get retested, get your blood panels redone before you go off of any medication. You don't ever want to go off of anything without being tested and talk with your coach and talk with your doctor. Because that can create other problems. So
Yeah, we never recommend anybody to do that. They, as you said, Mike, they must do this with their doctor.
good. Just want to re-stress that. Fantastic. Great questions, everybody. I'm very, very impressed. Sometimes I get depressed when we don't have enough questions. So we're getting good questions. People are listening and paying attention. Who else? Well, I had asked it earlier on oils. There's been a lot of talk about MCT oil, which I believe is a coconut oil, right? That is supposed to be good to use as an oil for your weight loss. Is that an acceptable oil on your plan?
Absolutely. Yes,
great.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And
Great.
the nice thing about it is, people mix it in their yogurt. So if they're worried about it tasting too strong, it's a great oil to mix into your yogurt. And some people even put it in their coffee as well.
Okay, here's another great question. As a weight loss coach, do you come across other things like emotional eating, and how do you coach for someone who is an emotional overeater? Let's put emotional overeating.
I also, in my practice, do something called psychosomatic energetic testing, which is your psychology becomes your biology, your issues go into your tissues. So through a series of testing with the client, just talking to them, I'm able to address that as well, because I think it's critical that, you've lost 50 pounds, but I need you to be happy at the end of that 50 pounds and to really do a deep dive into why you're turning to certain foods. And in my coaching, I spend a lot of time talking about that. So, but that's going to be individualized for each person.
Yeah, that brings up a lot. That brings up a lot of issues. There are cultural issues around food that really need to be addressed. I know in the culture I grew up, food was synonymous with love and attention. And I had grandparents who were immigrants who came over, and they did not have a lot of resources. They were able to grow their own food and make their own foods and bake their own foods and do all of those things. And so food was very much it was a currency, and it was a reward, and it was a way of family celebrating love and giving love. But things like that can get out of balance, and that's why it's important to be learning about metabolic balance. And understanding it's important what we eat, when we eat it, what we eat it with, why we eat it, how we eat it. And again, have somebody who actually knows all of those answers to guide you. And again, that's why we are having Jane on the show tonight, janehealthcoach.com, to help you put all of that in the right places to get good results.
Absolutely.
to be healthy and to be happy.
Yeah,
Right.
because that's ultimately what our goal is, right? I
Right.
mean, life is supposed to be a joyful experience, and things get in the way, and I just try to steer people in the right direction and coach them to the finish line.
Well, anybody else? Anybody there on Facebook? Someone on Facebook said, yes, your psychology becomes your biology. Good point. I like that. Okay, well, if we don't have any more questions, I want to once again share with you the information about Jane. So again, we want to go to janehealthcoach.com. That is in the chat. I will put it in the chat one more time for folks who just joined us or joined us a little later on in the show. So if you look in the chat, I am popping that in right now. There you go. You can click on that link, go right to her website. Not only can you purchase the book, the Metabolic Balance Kitchen book, of recipes there, and also it has a summary of the Metabolic Balance Program. You will also get your bonuses that have a lot of information about the Metabolic Balance Program, about Jane, and about how to have a successful experience with that. And you're going to get a free PDF copy of her book on self-confidence. Self-confidence, willpower, focus, a healthy mindset, all of those things are in the book, and they are all essential for success in following any kind of goal. And certainly healthy weight management. I don't even want to talk about weight loss. I want to talk about healthy eating, healthy living, healthy weight management, and doing all of that to not only feel good and look good, but feel good about yourself. And again, having the right support is really important to help you along the way. Having realistic goals, having nice small steps, nice small measured goals along the way, little steps along the way builds momentum, builds confidence, builds a healthy weight loss. Because we don't want to get into the yo-yo world. And we get into the yo-yo world when we're out of balance, we're not in harmony with our body and the way the body works, and we don't have the right support mechanism. So again, janehealthcoach.com, you're going to get the right information, you're going to get the right support, get access to her book, a bestseller. It's a reason it's a bestseller. There is great recipes in there. I can't wait to start trying them. Before we leave, any other questions? Last chance. If you're feeling shy and you don't want to ask a question, you can go to my Facebook page and drop me a DM, or just send a question to janehealthcoach.com. You'll see an email address on that site. You can contact Jane directly. Don't be afraid. She's amazing. She's wonderful.
Thank you.
And you're going to feel good no matter what you ask her and what she says to you. Jane, I want to just reiterate to everybody, I've known you for decades, and you are the real deal when it comes from doing something from your heart in the spirit of love and service. And for those of you who don't know Jane, that's what Jane is all about. And I don't have people on this show who are just looking to sell stuff. I don't need to have people on the show to do that. I look for people who I know have the heart, the desire, the experience, and really the results. I look for people who've achieved results, their clients have achieved results, and I know you can achieve results with them. So, Jane, again, I want to thank you not just for being here tonight, the years you put into developing your craft and your expertise, the years you put in developing the book, and the years in the other book. Your commitment to your clients, it's beyond business. I know you really care about each and every person you deal with. And even if they're not your client, I've seen how much you care about just trying to give people good information and steer them in the right direction. So thank you so much for being you, for all you do. And now you're part of our family. You're part of the Integrative Wellness and Development family. Folks, if you know somebody who really needs to see this episode, you can have them go on my Facebook page. It will be showing there, and they can see it at any time. If they are not a Facebook friend, on my Facebook page is my YouTube channel information, and they can watch the show later on YouTube. And also, I will be repeating this on Zoom. So, pay attention when I do post something on my, Michael DeLuca Facebook page, or if you're part of my COVID Crisis Comeback Challenge group, it's posted in there. And I also, each week when I have a guest, if you are a Facebook friend, I drop you a little note in your Facebook direct messenger. Instant messenger. So yeah, if you're looking for my Facebook page address, join my Facebook page. Let me give that to you. It is this, and I'm going to put it in the chat. There's a link to my Facebook page. You can go ahead and click on that and become a Facebook friend of mine, and you will get all of the information of when this show will be repeated. But also, you just be able to go to that page and watch it. Watch Jane again. Send your friends, family, people you love, even people you hate. Send them to Jane. She'll turn them around real quick.
Yes, I will.
You will. So again, last chance, folks. Last chance for a question. Check one more time on Facebook. No, I think everybody is ready to go and sign up and contact you and do all that good stuff. So again, everybody who joined us tonight, thank you. Every step you take to make your life better affects the whole world. Right? Affects everybody around you and inspires everyone around you, and it can change the world. So keep doing it. Keep looking for ways to make yourself happier, healthier. That's why I have this show, right? I have this show because I want you to have a happier, healthier life. And I'm a insatiable, curious person. So I'm always out there looking for stuff that works. And so if you continue to watch this show, you'll see more stuff that works. You'll meet more great people like Jane. So with that, I want to thank everyone who's joined us tonight. I want to let you know I care about you. I love you all. Jane, we love you. We're so grateful for you.
Thank
You're
you.
so welcome. You're so welcome. And wish you all good health. Wish you all happiness. Wish you all balance, right? We want balance, and we will see you next time on our next show. Take care, love you all, and we will see you again soon.